Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, it's me, Mitch, and welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch on this Friday morning, December, almost Christmas, the 19th. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Here we are. And I think I look over here and, well, they're finishing up over there at Kiltsy. So, guess we'll wait for the crowd because as it builds slowly. And we get down to business. And we get down to business here and drink it if we got it. And oh my God, I've been waiting for this. Been waiting for this. Excuse me. One more. That's good. That's my new coffee. Made in my Keurig with my new proper stainless steel little K-cup. And I figured it out. It's getting better, and I like it. We talked about it last night on the members live stream. There, Kelsey's done. Right on time. I watched a little of Kelsey this morning. I imagine a lot of you did too. I have to refrain from commenting on so many things that I hear, but is it just me? Well, the longer I go on doing this, what we call carnivore lifestyle, the more complicated, with each passing video I watch, the more complicated it seems to become. Is that just me? Sandy Bly says, no, Mitch, not just you. Good. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I started my channel quite a while ago. My motto was, from the very beginning, KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. I don't want anybody to think that I'm calling them stupid, so let's just call it keep it simple. Silly. Whatever you want that last S to mean, it's not important. Simple. Simple. So simple. Even a caveman could do it. That's the mantra. You remember those commercials? I don't know how old you have to be to remember those commercials. It's so simple, even a caveman could do it. Number one, cavemen probably didn't speak a sophisticated enough language to encompass all of the things that we carnivores these days have to keep hearing and watching and listening to, and most importantly, considering. The more I watch of this stuff, And the more I say to myself, well, maybe that's valid. Maybe this guy's got a point. As an example, I talk about the add carb stuff. I don't think, and this is hard. I don't think I'm doing myself any big favors by continuing this quest for answers when I'm way past even knowing what the question is anymore. Do I need red light therapy? How important is it for me to really walk out barefoot in the grass? Do I need to add carbs? Do I need to measure my ketones every day? How much effort do I need to put into taking charge, taking control, or trying to, of my own physiology, of my own body, of every chemical reaction? Do I need to know what a glycocalyx is and why do I need it? Is that going to help me? Or is it going to have me just going off in a different direction every day, which is what I seem to, a trap I seem to be falling into. Then I say to myself, well, why is all that out there? And it's out there because it's an excuse to make YouTube videos. And I'm as guilty of that as anybody. So I can't find fault with all the people out there who have jumped into the carnivore space or the keto space, got a little taste of making a few bucks, not a lot of bucks, but a few bucks, and decided that, like I kind of decided, well, this is not a bad side gig. You know, it's not a bad way to make cigar money or coffee money. But once you jump on that YouTube treadmill, as I'm finding out now, if you don't keep running, if you don't keep pushing, it just goes away. People just lose interest in you and you just become an afterthought. And instead of 158 viewers on a morning live stream, like I used to get, now I have 58. Because I'm not pumping those videos out there, trying to find new people who say, well, this old guy, maybe he's got the answers. And running on a treadmill is okay. It's okay. But the problem is they keep speeding up the treadmill. They keep pushing you harder and harder. They change the rules constantly. If you just keep doing the same thing, you find you make less and less money. You get less and less views. Their algorithm has a built-in acceleration factor that the harder you work, the harder you get pushed. Just to break even, just to stay the same. The old expression, the hurrier I go, the behinder I get, is what I've been experiencing. And it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on you and leads to a lot of disappointment. And you find yourself grabbing your phone as I wonder how, if people approve of me today. I wonder if people still like me. I wonder if I'm still doing any good. And the consideration of whether you're doing good or not, or why you're even doing it, as you become a YouTuber for a long enough period of time, and you really care about doing some good, it just leads to more and more disappointment. And this has been happening to me, and I see it happening to a lot of other YouTubers. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it leads to just like this morning. And I don't want to be a downer because I started this thing and this community hoping to support people and help with the problems. But I can't even keep up with myself all the crap that's out there that every one of us is being subjected to every day, creating more questions in our minds than answers, so that somebody else can have excuses to talk about something on YouTube in an arena and in something that the simpler you can make it, the more chance you have of success. So the question of the morning in my own mind, what's the success rate compared to what it was a couple of years ago? How many people today are really solving their problems, losing weight, getting healthier by continuing to immerse themselves in this so-called community, carnivore, keto, with all these so-called experts? And some of them are. How many people are really succeeding, or how many people are just saying, I don't get it. I don't get it. What am I supposed to do? Where do I go for help? Which one of those many people out there has got the right answer? How do I know who to follow? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physicist. I'm not a physiologist. I'm not a biochemist. I don't understand all that stuff that these doctors on YouTube talk about and what it means to me. Do I or don't I need organ meat? How, do I need to count calories? What blood tests do I need to get? Pay attention to? Do I need to get any blood tests? Do I need to monitor my ketones? And the questions I seem to get in these live streams are all based on somebody else's harebrained theory that they come up with. Maybe they're a popular YouTuber and they put it out there and they get everybody thinking about it. And they ask me and I never even heard of it. And yet somehow, good old Mitch, I survived my stroke. I've dabbled in adding carbs because Robert Saives told me all the bad things that would happen to me if I don't add carbs. And so did Ben Azadi in his book, Keto Flex. So I have to say, you can't hear stuff like that and then unhear it and then not think about it or consider it and try to apply it to your own life. So sometimes in the morning, as I'm sitting getting ready for this live stream, and this is what happened to me this morning, I say to myself, what am I trying to accomplish here? And why are you people here? And what are you looking for that I can do or say that might clear up some of this confusion and not add to it? And that I don't know if I have the answer to that. I just don't know. I don't know. Bride's biscuit. The trend is not going towards health despite our niche effort. The masses remain asses, and it's by systemic forces and design, not personal failings. Yes, you are exactly right. And that is one of the foremost things on my mind. I watch on Kilts this morning. His guest was a very nice, attractive young lady, and I use the word young lady. Anybody that isn't 35 yet, as far as I'm concerned, is still a baby. That's a different perspective at my age. But a young lady talking about her efforts in Australia to organize, and she organized quite a meetup. It sounded like quite a meetup. Bella Steak and Butter Gal was there. Anthony Chafee was, all the superstars in a carnivore community were there. They had, she was saying, they had 350 people. 350 people. It was such a statement as to the success of the carnivore movement. 350 people. She was excited about that. Everybody got excited about that. Wow. Wow. Because that's more than they had at Hack Your Health. And somehow I couldn't get too optimistic or excited about that. And they kind of set the tone for my mood this morning. I'm having a hard time being a cheerleader this morning, because when I look at 350 people, I say to myself, that's how many people are in any given Costco at any given minute of any given day. And how many Costcos are there, and how many minutes are there? 350 people is nobody. It is nobody. It's discouraging. Then I watch TV and I see a football game and an aerial shot of the stadium with 70,000 people in one place at the same time to watch a stupid football game and pay a fortune to do it and destroy their health in the process because of the crap that they eat when they're in a stadium. And I say to myself, Mitch, and I say, what? What do we got to do to fix this? I don't want to give up on it. I certainly don't want to give up on you guys who are my friends and are in here chatting away and talking about it. I hope you're listening to what I'm saying, because this is the most important thing. How do we fix? Because we're not fixing it now. Nothing in it. Years I've been doing carnivore. Nothing in the world has changed. The doctors haven't changed. The medical advice hasn't changed. The pharmaceutical companies haven't changed. The food companies haven't made food any healthier. They're just finding ways to skirt and tamp down any real advice that comes out. And is there anything we can do except make it harder for us to do this, because we're just making it more and more complicated? And that's just playing into it. Now, does some of all this stuff come from them? Is that a tactic of the big food pharma companies saying, these people are onto something out there? They're saying, keep it simple, just eat meat and fat, stop eating carbohydrates. They seem to be getting healthy. We can't have that. So maybe we need to put a few strawmen out there, a few plants in this so-called carnivore community, and we need to kind of play the game and then poison it with overcomplicating things. And I wouldn't put that past them either. We do that all the time. And Diaz 111, right on topic, says that I look like a championship poker player. Yes, I do. I am wearing different glasses today, and you can see that these glasses, I have reflections of my lights up there. I have to go get glasses. My glasses now, I think, are too strong. I put them on, and I can't read the text it's blurry. If I take the glasses off, the text is crystal clear, but I see double because of my prism and astigmatism correction that I need. So I can't use them. And I had to go back to this pair of glasses, which are a prescription from years ago that were designed just to read at the distance of the computer screen, or else I couldn't have done this live stream this morning. I said, wow, I need to go. And I'm going to have to go and get my eyes checked and get a what I imagine is a weaker prescription. And I do credit Carnivore for that. Well, I'm sorry we had a little visit from Rant Man this morning, and there he is. But I think it's important that we think about these things and try to stop falling into the traps that I myself fall into every day. I know how complicated the human body is. I know how complicated our physiology is. I understand down to a molecular level all the reactions, the pathways, and everything that's happening thousands of times a second in every cell of our body. I understand the machinery. I understand how it generates. And the one thing I really understand is it's too fast and too complex and too interacted. Everything interacting with everything else. Too many what they call PID systems and servo mechanisms and this level of this, which is, it directly affects that level of that. And the one thing I know for sure, is that in our conscious minds, we have no ability to regulate all that stuff that's going on. And we're not supposed to, which is why we don't have direct control over so many things like our blood pressure, our heart rate, the levels of certain electrolytes in our blood, how tightly regulated they are, the effects of too much or too little of anything. We can't keep track of it. And having that constantly pointed out to us that we need to keep track of it. We need to measure our ketones 5 times a day. When in reality, we shouldn't even, and prospered better when we didn't know what a ketone was, or a carbohydrate, or fat, or protein. And we just ate the foods that our ancestors ate, and we weren't smart enough to understand the science. And we did better. We survived. We survived as a species until we got too smart for our own good. And now, being on any kind of a lifestyle like carnivore is more about dodging the bad things, what not to eat, than it is what to eat. Because what to eat is very simple. We have to be concerned today about quality, about whether the stuff that they call food or tell us is food actually has crap in it that's poisonous to us. Something that an ancient hunter didn't have to worry about when they were cutting up that big mastodon. They didn't need to worry about that stuff. They didn't realize it, but it didn't make it less true, that the fat to protein ratio in that big mastodon was exactly what it was supposed to be. That when they did scrounge for those grubby plants out of the ground in times of shortages and famine, that they had the pathways and the chemistry in their body to deal with them properly, to turn them into structural rebuilding materials and energy, and didn't need to think about it. And we've gotten to the point where the more serious you get about this lifestyle, it becomes your life. It's not just a lifestyle anymore. It occupies every second of your conscious day. How to make it better, how to do this. Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? And I don't know about you, but it's driving me crazy. I don't, I've never been shy about talking about how much I doubt whether there's any future in this for me. And how much of a future do you really have to plan for when you're 70, almost 79 years old? So we got a great community here. We got a great community. If it wasn't for this community aspect and the few people that have come into my life that I enjoy visiting with every day, and I really want to help, but sometimes I think, am I really doing any good? What can I do? So today I decided I was going to rant a little bit and maybe get us and me too, because I'm right there with you with all this stuff. And the bad thing about my life, well, it's a good thing for many, is that I don't have a lot to do. So I'm always looking for something to occupy this tremendous curiosity I have. And I seem to find myself thumbing through YouTube all day. But the biggest challenge is to recognize the nonsense and the clickbait, the destructive stuff, the propaganda stuff, because the world is so deceptive and everything in it. Anyway, I probably made my point today. And for my own self, I have decided I don't need to add anything. I don't need to make any changes. I need to get back to what made the first 2 years that I was on Carnivore the best years, I think, of my life. Free of any cravings, be getting in good physical shape. Now, I know my stroke has kind of thrown a damper in that, but I'm trying to ignore that and continue on. My biggest concern should be trying to identify and find the best quality meat, eggs, and fish I can afford in a sustainable environment where I don't have to worry about not being able to get it more of the same tomorrow. Because that seems to be a problem these days too. You finally find the eggs that you think are the best, and then they go out of stock and you can't get them anymore. You try to find decent meat, and the price gets so high you can't afford it anymore. Those are things, unfortunately, in this society we have to deal with. But I want to, Jem says, meat, eggs, fish, yes. Yeah, that's all we need. That's all we need. And you know how I feel about being what I call a Nazi carnivore, about worrying about minute quantities of things that everybody else is telling you can't. Like, don't dare put a little garlic because it comes from a plant. Well, we can eat plants, and certainly in small quantities. We have been for hundreds of millions of years, and we can do it. We have the machinery to process that stuff in small quantities. The huge quantity of grains and sugars that we eat today and seed oils, we all know that. I mean, we're at least convinced of that that's the root cause of the problem. DS111 says, I drink a plant every morning. Well, I do too, but you're not drinking the plant. You're not drinking a plant. There's no fiber in coffee. There's no calories in coffee. There's no fat in coffee. What you're doing is drinking water, that hot water that has been run through coffee grounds and absorbs some of the oils from the coffee and you got some flavor out of it and some caffeine and maybe some other chemicals, but you're not eating a plant. You don't have to digest a plant when you drink a cup of coffee. Same thing with tea. So it's not, I don't think it's the same. When I say eating plants, I mean eating plants. And I don't consider, I don't worry about that. And I don't want to hear about it. I don't want somebody to have to nag me constantly saying, well, you're not a real carnivore because you drink coffee. You know, lighten up. We got to lighten up. Maybe there is something to life outside of carnivore. Maybe we can find. And I try to find something else to occupy my time and my mind and get my mind off of this carnivore stuff, which is why I stopped making videos this month. I just needed to get away from it. I can't spend my entire day trying to figure out something new to get a lot of views on YouTube and how I can make people want to watch it and compete with all this other stuff that's out there. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Overwhelming. I'll never be a carnivore superstar, nor do I want to be. If I was a young man, maybe, Anthony Chaffee's age or something like that, and a Superman-looking doctor like that, yeah, I probably could be a lot more popular than I am now. But we are who we are. I'll never be a football star, a professional golfer, an athlete of any kind. I never have been. So anyway, we're here. We're here. I know I'm pretty well preaching to the choir here. I know that I am. I haven't gone through and said hi to everybody. So as 83 of you here, I will say hi to you all at once. I'm kind of watching the chat, but I get frustrated. And I know many of you feel the same way. I know. I mean, you have to wonder, now what do I do? And I see this in my conversations with you. So in my member live streams or the live streams where I have a panel, we all get together and we talk. And listening to Peter, to Spanky, golf addict, not one of them is a strict, pure carnivore. Yet they're carnivores. But yesterday, Peter said, and this doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, but Peter said that he eats very frequently, if not every day, yogurt with blueberries in it. Well, that certainly isn't strict carnivore. That's more ketovore or keto. And that's another stupid, sorry, Nisha, bullshit, arbitrary measurement designed to split people into smaller and smaller groups over insignificant things. What the hell is the difference between 10 grams of carbs a day and 20 grams of carbs? Who the hell knows that accurately anyway? Whether they're getting 20 or 10 or 17 or 13.852 grams of carbs. You have no way of knowing. You think those labels that are on the package are designed to give you accurate information? They're designed to confuse you. They invented net carbs instead of total carbs. How do they measure this stuff anyway? How do they know how many carbs are in there? And do they spend that much money on that level of laboratory accuracy? You ever looked at the labeling requirements? They're so loose, it's incredible. And don't you think that these thieves and whores out there are going to take advantage of every loophole and trick and scheme they can use to game the regulations like they do in everything else? How come your car never gets the gas mileage that it said it's got on the sticker? How come your electric car, the range falls way short of what they were allowed to advertise? Because everybody does it in everything. And what do? We lockstep fall in line and believe that shit and agonize over 1/10 of a gram of what somebody tells us. So how do you know when you buy that chicken, that rotisserie chicken at Sam's Club for $5 and so proud of yourself? So proud of yourself because you think you got so much food for so little money. And then you look at the ingredients label, and if you stop to think about it, you wouldn't go near this stupid thing. It's got so much crap and seed oils and different seasonings and chemicals and preservatives, and it was marinated in God knows what before it rotisserie. Yeah, it tastes great. Yeah, well, they know how to make things taste great. Just ask anybody with a bag of Doritos in their laps, or a box of Cheez-Its, or a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. If it doesn't taste great, and they use us with that too. So how do we know? And what's the difference between keto, ketovore, carnivore, the lion diet, just plain low carb? Do we need that many cutoff points? And is there that much wildly different? It just overcomplicates everything so that there's more excuses out there for people to make more videos narrowing the field. I'm surprised you don't have a separate name for a diet where you don't eat organ meat. I don't eat organ meat. I somehow managed to live. I know that Anthony Chafee, you don't hear him extolling the virtues of eating liver. You don't hear Sean Baker, every other word out of his mouth, talking about eating brains and hearts and livers and gizzards and the rest of it. How important really is that? Well, it's a great reason to make a carnivore video. Great reason. And you slap a clickbaity title on it. Something like, you may be avoiding the most important thing to save your life. And you put a picture of a heart exploding, and you talk about how you should be eating liver. Then another guy comes along and says, well, if you eat too much liver, you can get vitamin A toxicity, and that's no good either. So he makes a video cautioning you. Be very careful about eating too much of this recommended nutrient, or your heart will blow up. And you watch that. Now you say, what the hell do I do? I don't like liver. Do I need to eat it? Am I eating too much of it? When in reality, you don't need to even think about it. Eat what you feel like you want. We've got the basics built into us. We know what we're supposed to eat. We want it. We're hungry for it. And if we manage to finally get ourselves out of the grips of the big food companies who have addicted us, if we manage to get rid of the cravings for all of that chemical, seed oil, sugar, and salt laden snack food and crap that they've done to us, we find that I found that I want real good food, meat, bacon, eggs, and the flavor and taste of those things gets better and better. And we actually organically and naturally revert back to our instinctual way of knowing what to eat, like every other animal on the planet. Your dog doesn't go shopping and have to pick out what food is most appealing to it. If it's in the wild, it knows what to eat. It knows what not to eat. That's why we've developed senses. That's why we know when a certain taste hits our taste buds that it's poison. Don't eat it. When we smell a certain smell, especially one of decaying food, it's unpleasant. Well, who says it's unpleasant, and why is it unpleasant? It's unpleasant because evolution has allowed those members of the species not to survive who didn't find that particular smell or taste unpleasant. That's how it works. Pretty soon, after 100 or so more generations of a species, the ones that were eating the poisons because they didn't find the particular taste of the poisons unpleasant, they don't survive. And only the members of the species that ate the foods that tasted good, that weren't poisonous, they survived. And that's where taste came from. And taste has a purpose. And it's not just pleasure. It's an early warning system for us. And smell is too. And that's why animals, before they do something that may kill them, maybe eat a plant or something, you see them sniff at it, smell at it, checking it out. That's the way we're supposed to live. But we've outsmarted ourselves, I'm afraid. And I keep thinking, why does this have to be so complicated? Is that the reason why nobody's succeeding in any great numbers? Why the best we can do in an entire continent for a big event is have 350 people show up? Imagine if you were trying to run a business, a sports league, and you went through all this hoorah and rented the stadium and put on all this shit and had a big football game and had 20,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 seats in the stadium and 350 people showed up. Would you consider that a success? We are not succeeding. And I think the things we're doing these days and directions we're going, we can't succeed on a national stage. I mean, we all got excited about Robert F. Kennedy and how he's going to fix the world and they were going to, what have they done? What have they actually managed to accomplish against the influence and money and propaganda from all those people whose lives depend and profit on the fact that we're killing ourselves and eating poison? They've done bubkiss. That means nothing. I know it's stupid because I'm in this world nothing more than just an ant trying to figure out how to kill a dinosaur single-handedly. It'll never happen. I don't delude myself. But I know there's got to be an answer. There's got to be a beginning, a path that we can start to take. And I know what that looks like, but I don't see it happening. I see us going off in all the wrong directions. Just overcomplicating something that's very simple. The problem is, it's so simple, even a caveman could do it. And the cavemen didn't have a lot to say. They just did it. And would not have made very good YouTube stars. And that seems to be the most important thing these days. Becoming a big YouTube star. Is that fixing the problem? I know I've been ranting for 45 minutes. These are things that are on my mind constantly. I think a lot about this stuff, and I agonize over what can I do? What can I say? What can I make a video about that'll be meaningful and maybe get a few people going in the right direction? And I'll go back to the same thing that I always have been, and it's been my mantra since the very beginning. Keep it simple. Try to be as close to zero carbs as you can, but don't agonize about the small stuff. If you have to eat a few pieces of broccoli or plants, be my guest. If you really like it, if like me, you don't like it, don't eat it because you think you have to or you need it. If you like it that much, there may be something in it that your body wants. Listen to your instincts. Listen to your body. Once you get over the addiction, and I'll tell you this again, even though I get a lot of pushback, the single biggest problem we have, the single biggest reason that we cannot succeed, the single biggest reason is that we are addicts to the most addictive substance animals I've ever known, refined sugars, and we're paying the price for that. Anybody who says addiction is not a problem and you should be able to have the willpower to overcome the cravings is not living in the same world I am. Period. 80% of the people in this country today are metabolically ill. They are addicts, or they wouldn't be metabolically ill. They're metabolically ill because they cannot stay away from the poison. It's that simple. Makes sense? There's no other explanation for it. They're skinny, they're fat. The weight has nothing to do with it. I heard Kelsey say this morning, he's absolutely right. There are skinny people that have heart attacks and skinny people that get cancer and skinny diabetics too. It's not the obesity. The obesity is a result of the metabolic illness. And in some people, that's not one of the symptoms. There are obese people that are healthier than all of us out there. But we're addicts. Every time I try to talk about curbing your addictions, managing your addictions, techniques to overcome the cravings, nobody cares. It's not a subject they're interested in. Since they're an addict, they want to know, how do I make a pizza that I can eat? That's all they care about. How do I make ice cream that I can eat? I know. I wish I could. I still hold out hope that one day I can figure out something like ice cream that I could eat every day and it would help me. But so far, I haven't found it. Oh, yeah. So far, I haven't interacted with the chat at all. I'm just ranting my little brains out. Yes. Thank you, Rantman, and thank you, Barry Simon, who generates these little fabulous little video clips for me. But I'm in a better mood now. sometimes getting something off your chest makes you feel good. And I've gone through almost a whole hour. So let me try to do this. Let me go over here to the chat, type F3, QQQ, and see. Peter says, I'm glad you came to the realization that clean carnivore is what has and will continue to help you instead of trying to change things and add bad carbs. Well, you're being a little presumptuous there, Peter, telling me what I've decided. Because I still, with all the shit that I read in here, I'm not convinced that we're not as an animal designed to flex back and forth between, unless for simplicity's sake, say burning sugar and burning fat. Although it's way more complicated than that, we still have the pathways in each of our cells with the ability to turn sugars like glucose into ATP. Now, I know some people say that you can't make energy from sugar. I vehemently disagree. And I think Ben Bickman and all the other scientists, Bart K, would vehemently disagree, because we have in every cell of our body a process called glycolysis, which results in the production of acetyl-CoA, NADH2, which are then moved on to the electron transport chain, where through a series of events called oxidative phosphorylation are changed into energy. And we can get energy from sugar, as evidenced by the burst you get by eating tons of carbs when you're exercising. So, yes, we can extract energy from glucose. That's my current state of thought. So I can't get into that. I can't get into how I vehemently disagree with so many things that people I admire actually say, and the confusion that is causing everybody. Because I don't care if you think there's 10 answers to one question that are all the same. There's only one truth and one reality. Whether we know it or not is always a debate. But we can burn sugar. And the word burn doesn't apply, because we don't have fires inside of us. We don't burn anything. Everything is just chemical reactions. Let's see. That's the only QQQ? No, there's got to be more. Got to be more. Well, it's weird. It's not finding the QQQs. I only found a recent one. Let's try it again. Right? No. Peter, are you the only one that asked the question today? Bryce Visick says McDonald's fries have 10 ingredients. Yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying about it. Questions. Here's one. You know yourself, and presently no carbs works for you. It does, Kathy. It does. But I have been experimenting with my blueberry ice cream a little bit. I haven't figured out a way to succeed, because I can't stop eating it once I start. But I'm not gaining weight, not gaining a lot of weight at all. So I'm not worried about that. But I just have no self-control when I eat certain foods. That's addiction. I can try to deny that. I can try to say, shame on you, Mitch. You're better than that. That's not the way it works. Addiction takes away your ability to think logically. It shuts off that part of your brain that might stop it from doing what it thinks it needs. Addiction is uncontrollable unless You can alter your physiology in certain ways that the chemistry is just a little different. And that's what eating meat and no carbs does. And allows you to overcome the cravings for sugars without suffering badly. We can all lock ourselves in a room with no carbohydrates for 2 months. And if we survive, we may help our addiction. That's called cold turkey. But most of us don't want to go cold turkey. Especially you talk to a drug addict that it's ever gone cold turkey to try to overcome an addiction. We don't want to go cold turkey. We want it to be easy and painless. And we have ways of doing that. But I know in reality that I do better if I don't eat carbs. The only question I have left is, should every so often I allow my sugar burning pathways, give them a little exercise so that they don't shrivel up and die like the fat metabolizing pathways in most of us seem to do when we're living on primarily sugar. Now, I understand that the liver converts most of that sugar to fat, but the way insulin and all those other things work, it seems that doesn't seem to be used for energy. It seems to get deposited in our gas tank to store up for the lean times, and we tend to metabolize the sugar for the energy of day-to-day lives, and that's why we are all getting fat, is that we're convinced we're in a famine, that the food supply is short. We go into storage mode. We want to save it away, and we depend more and more on the sugar to power our everyday activities while we save up. And we go into conservation mode and build the fat to get us through the next hibernation or migration. All that programming is built into us. It's obvious if you watch it work. Despite all those people who tell you what they think is causing it, it's all explainable, easily understandable, simple in nature, and it must work because every living thing on the planet operates by those particular principles, except humans who think they know better. And are we really prospering because we know better? Yeah, I know how smart we are, and we shoot rockets into space, and we're saving people's lives that otherwise might have died. But in nature, maybe those people should have died, especially before they reproduced, because that's what evolution is. If the organism isn't up to the task of survival, why would we want to reproduce that? We want to allow the strongest and best to improve the future. And we as a human race right now are devolving, and we have been devolving for the past 10 or 15,000 years. It's obvious. When you look at the bones dug up of people that lived 20, 30,000 years ago, they were physically far superior to those of us alive today. Far superior. They had big, wide jaws. They didn't have to have their wisdom teeth pulled out. Their brains were bigger than ours. We are devolving. We're not changing the direction. We're actually accelerating in that direction. So we'll see. Question: Cold plunge, Mitch. Now I don't go out of my way anymore to do anything that I don't feel like doing. I go by my feelings. I don't force myself to eat any food that I don't want to eat. If I want to go out, walk around in the grass in my bare feet in the morning and get some sunlight, I do it because it's relaxing and it feels good. I don't do it when I say to myself, oh, geez, I know I should do this. Same thing with going to the gym. I'm at a point now where I don't really have the goals that a younger person would. And because I do things a certain way doesn't mean that you should. Maybe we have to force ourselves to do things we don't like that are good for us. But like the cavemen, they had to hunt. I'm sure they weren't looking forward to it, risking their lives running after big hairy animals, but they had to. They had to forage for food. They had to do these things. Yeah, there are things we have to do. But I'm at a point now where I do it because I want to do it. And I'm in the same position here on YouTube now. Basically, I'm here because I want to do this. I enjoy it. It's the only reason. I want to help. I want to, and I know I tried it 25 years ago when I wrote my book. I want to try to bring reality and common sense back into the conversation that gets crazier every year. Crazier every year. The crap that people believe is unreal. You can't tell people that what they believe is absolute crap because they get insulted and go away. There's so many people out there that keep pushing that crap on us. And by crap, you decide what I'm talking about. Things that are so ingrained in our ideology that anybody that says anything that goes against it, no matter what else we believe, we're not going to agree with. The earth is flat. These are minor, tiny examples of the crap that we as a species actually believe and live our lives by. That is impossible by any measure of reality. Proven. And yet still rules our lives and ruins our lives. I don't believe anything. That makes me a bad guy. Don't believe anything that can't be proven without propaganda and the word faith. A word that does not exist in my vocabulary in any way, shape, or form. I have faith in nothing. It sounds harsh. Makes me an outcast in this world. Well, not so much. Got a lot of company these days. More and more people, especially some of the younger people, are learning that the word faith is defined as belief without proof or evidence. The word faith for me goes right next to the word trust me as the single greatest warning to a human being of things to avoid. When anybody says to you, trust me, run. I have no faith. I have no faith in humanity. I have no faith in government doing the right thing. I don't have any faith in Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I don't even have any faith in Donald Trump. I have no faith. The things that I believe, the things that I do believe in, at least to my own satisfaction, I've proven them to myself. And that's the way we all should operate. No belief without evidence. That's the way our courts are supposed to operate. Yet innocent people are convicted every day because lawyers know how to manipulate the system, play on emotions of ignorant jurors who are no more the peers of the accused than anybody else. So I have no faith in the justice system because I have proven to myself that it's a scam and it's corrupt, and who's got the most money gets the most justice. Our whole world is like that. I know that's a very dim view. There are great things in this world, and I try to identify them and move towards them, but I have no faith in fantasies, superstitions, or stories, because that's what they are. They are stories. A story. There's only one real story, and none of us can know what that is because it's something that happened one molecular reaction at a time since the beginning of time is the story. Nobody can know. But I have no faith, and it's very hard for me to exist in this world anymore when I'm being told I have to have faith every 5 minutes. Trust me. Believe me. Believe me. This is what you need. Have faith. No, I have no faith. I'm a realist. Maybe sometimes I think the last realist on the face of the earth. I'm a realist. You tell me how it happened, where it came from, prove that to me, and I'll put it in my library of things that I believe. But don't tell me you read it somewhere in a book or you heard it on a YouTube video. That's not good enough for me. Anyway, that's just me. That's just me. And I rant about it because I can't fix it. I can't change it. I can't tell people don't have faith. It certainly isn't the most important thing to me in the world, like it is to some other people who I, don't want to disparage. But when they say the most important thing is faith, I say, you're out of your mind. And then I break off and basically have to go my own way. And that's why I'm a loner, because I have a very hard time finding. Rick says, you're not the only realist there. Yeah, Rick, I think of all the people I know in this community, you are probably the closest to me in not buying into bullshit. Yet I know for a fact that some of the things that you do buy into, I consider complete and utter bullshit. So we still have a way to go. But I think you're very close to me anyway. At any rate, I'm ranting on. I don't know if I accomplished anything, but it is Friday. I got it off my chest. I don't know if I've alienated. We'll see how many more of my subscribers I lose, because I just try to be a realist. I try to express my own observations. I know we all want to do something good. We all want the problem to be solved. And I just keep searching for evidence that it's happening. And yet on the national stage, in the narrative that's presented to everybody but those tiny few of us that are enlightened, we're truly enlightened, nothing's changing. It keeps getting worse. They keep coming up with new drugs that you need to take, yet more flavors of Cheerios, which, by the way, still contain the red dyes, because the food companies have till 2027 to figure out what they're going to do about that and then present that to the FDA. It may be in my grandchildren's lifetime, they'll finally change that and get the poisons out of the food, because God knows how important it is that food have the right colors and be attractive to the children who are trying to addict to it. That's truth? Is that really that hard to believe? At any rate, my friends, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. I may or not be able to do a live stream tomorrow night, so look for it. If it's not there, don't worry about me. I might actually have a life outside of YouTube, and it is Saturday night. The odds are I'll be here, but I may not. I will see all of you again Monday morning. I'm sorry I didn't interact a lot with you today, but this was just one of my get it off my chest and see just how crazy I sound. And I'm going to watch the replay and see if I didn't embarrass myself or if I actually made sense. Because ranting will do that to you sometimes. So, yes, I'm essentially all alone on Carnivore Island too, says Peter. It's true. It's true. Absolutely true. Interesting. Well, you guys chatted it up today. That's good. Whether you were listening to me, I think you might have been. Attendance wasn't bad this morning, so I hope some of you got a little food for thought out of this. And if you think I'm crazy, yeah, that's a reason to watch people too. We all like to watch crazy people. I don't have any plans for today. I'm going to relax, try to get a little exercise, maybe go for a walk. Maybe I'll go out to the store, although this week is a great week to stay out of the flow out there with all the traveling and Christmas shopping. Better to hide under your bed. Maybe that's not a bad idea. I'll see you probably tomorrow night, if not Monday morning. With that, my friends, take the rest of the day off. And if you remember just one thing, 2 words, so simple. It's all there is to it. It's all we need to know. Eat meat.